Please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Well, isn't this just fantastic?
Captain's Log, Subdate 231205.3. On the 5th day of Moistmas, my whole crew gave to me another reason to revisit Foodie Beauty and a bottle of Talmor 12. I swear they're up to something, because all this nice feels and reeks of wrong. On the 4th of December 2023, Chantal on her Foodie Beauty YouTube channel put out a video titled, "I'm going to Canada." The liked dislike disabled by the owner, and the comments are, at time of recording on the 5th of December, turned off. This video, coupled with the new Beatus arc, is quite fascinating to me because I didn't think it would be so soon. But we knew she was going to have to go back eventually, not just because of the back taxes, although I'm certain that's going to have to be dealt with when she arrives in Canada, but also because as the year has progressed, and I'm sure many of you have seen my end of year reviews, her health has deteriorated. While she has dunked on the West for political views, for cultural norms, she hasn't really shown any improvement. In fact, her weight has increased massively, mostly on the torso, which means she carries it really badly. And she, while seeking to address it, failed every single time by quitting within a day. One time, with the treadmill on its lowest possible setting for barely a minute, she put her back out. She then went on to do 2 months of solid mukbangs, while claiming to do something about her weight. Multiple times she had to leave and go to various places to sort out her visa issues. It had been speculated she had a 1-year contract with Salah. I'll be honest, if that is the case, good luck to him in his future endeavours. This video that we're now going to respond to is Chantal explaining why she has to go back to Canada. And this sounds very different. I'm going to try and resist the urge to punch down, but this is not a surprising development. It is only a surprising development it didn't happen sooner.
Hi, this is editing Foodie Beauty here. So, I'm editing, and since I made this video, since I filmed it, I talked to Salah and I made the decision that it's sadly probably better for me to go back to Canada for a while to seek some much needed medical care, and part of that is I want to talk to a doctor about possible weight loss surgery.
So there are a couple of points here. Firstly, I'm sure everyone made the joke, surely their contract was up for renewal and it was best they go their separate ways, which would explain why he is featured less and less within Chantal's content. But the fake acting, and I say fake acting as opposed to actual acting because there's something even more fake about this, was quite impressive for as long as it lasted. The second point is Chantal going back to Canada for her health. For those who don't know, because it won't feature on my end of year reviews, which end in November, Chantal has what is called the Beatus, or diabetes. Her blood sugar level is astronomically high. It has gotten worse over this year, worse than any other year, because she has just, well, I don't know how she's afforded it, but she has committed herself to general jackassery in the form of excessive consumption. When she was beezing, her excessive consumption at least got her out of the place she lived in, not least because on a regular she'd sod off in her car to go and get stuff, but then go and see Naddy Daddy, who I'm certain, along with Dee the Grey, is looking forward to seeing her back in wherever it is she ends up in Canada. It's quite a big area. I'm sure she'll stay with family for a time. The weight loss surgery part, though, is fascinating because that involves a level of commitment, one we have not seen from Chantal ever. I remember when she started her channel, in the video description she wanted to lose weight, which was the point of her channel, so she and Bibi could have children. As we all know, her story took a massive swerve from that.
And psychiatric help. You know, proper diagnosis.
Surely these services are available in Kuwait. You were bragging about the services, in fact, when you first arrived and how cheap it was. So I'm a tad curious why back in Canada. Is it because it's all free? Well, free-ish. You have to pay taxes still. Well, some people do.
All that proper medication to get my diabetes under control as well. Certain medications for diabetes, and also the surgery, of course, is covered in Canada, so...
You're trying to get it all for free because to get it paid for in Kuwait, you have to pay for it and you don't have as much disposable income as you used to have. This makes more sense. I assume and this is quite the assumption I know, that you're going to try and get back on welfare for a bit to aid in this, because your views are tanking. You don't care about your beezers. You made it a point to dunk on them and say you can always get more. Problem you got is all your beezers sodded off. You don't have many left, and you certainly don't have many that donate to you.
Also, I just feel like I need family when I'm going through some of these hard times. You know, when you're sick, you always want your mom. So, other than that, nothing. You know, I'm gonna miss my family here greatly. I'm gonna miss my husband, whom I love very much.
Do forgive this remark, but no one believes the last part. I firmly believe Salar's family are going to hold an intervention to stop him from committing to these shenanigans. I can fully, by the way, understand, respect and appreciate one wanting to be close to their mother or their father when they themselves are feeling down. I fully understand that. The issue that Chantal has, and has had for a long time, is that she does not possess an iota of sincerity. It doesn't translate even when she drops her voice to this. So many will dunk on her and not believe a word she said because they know how the story goes. And of course, your health is getting quite dire now. You need to turn back. You 100% do. But the best way to start would be to stop the lies. The ones you broadcast in every video. These lies are a foundation of what you are really. If you cannot stop the lies, the psychiatrist won't be able to help you, nor will any doctor. Weight loss surgery is a shortcut. The hard work is hard. The word is there for a reason, because anything easy generally isn't worth doing, especially when it comes to your health.
But it's just a lot, and I need to be in Canada to deal with these things, as I realize. So I'm not sure when, but someday I will just be in Canada and you'll see me there.
Out of curiosity, after the debacle concerning Sam and BBJ, what's happening to Julia and Harry? I mean, I can understand if Harry is no longer with us because they live less, but what about the cat? Don't try and con us into believing the cat will be fine. We both know you don't really care about animals in the first place, and we also know that to be a lie. I fully understand your health is your priority, 100%. I personally think it's because you can't be asked to do the paperwork to get a proper permit to stay and reside permanently in Kuwait, knowing that your shambolic marriage would not for a moment last another year, and you'll be back to beezing by January.
Alright, until I can get my health under control. I can't escape it anymore, so bye. Enjoy the video.
Out of curiosity, after the debacle concerning Sam and BBJ, what's happening to Julia and Harry? I mean, I can understand if Harry is no longer with us because they live less, but what about the cat? Don't try and con us into believing the cat will be fine. We both know you don't really care about animals in the first place, and we also know that to be a lie. I fully understand your health is your priority, 100%. I personally think it's because you can't be asked to do the paperwork to get a proper permit to stay and reside permanently in Kuwait, knowing that your shambolic marriage would not for a moment last another year, and you'll be back to beezing by January.
Yeah. Alright, here it is. Cottage cheese, low fat with mustard and carrots. Baby carrots. Mix it around. Cottage cheese is very expensive here. And I never used to like it, but now I love it.
I'm not really one for cottage cheese personally, but I do understand that it's quite low in calories, typically higher in protein, selenium, and some B vitamins. I know this. I've seen Amblin Reed eat it often enough, and I personally think the way it's done is kind of disgusting. But this show and tell of, look at me, I'm doing something for myself, good for you, yeah? Good for you. Whether you can commit to this, I'm not so certain. Oh, and Cat's cool. Cat has dirt face.
It doesn't hurt my stomach. It's not salty like the other cheeses. It's like $8 for a 16-ounce container of cottage cheese here. But I think it's an imported product, so what can you do? So I'm gonna eat this with some water, and then I'm gonna go to the doctor, so I'll see you soon. Bye.
I do wonder how many people saw that and thought, So the ready brek you're serving was basically for us, and I'm sure off camera there was another meal. That might seem a bit callous, but that is an assumption many will undoubtedly make, because that is very much a look at me, I'm doing something moment, situation type deal. Let's go to the doctor's part. This gets interesting.
Hello, beautiful girl. What you waiting for?
The dog.
Oh, hope you feel well, baby.
Two things of note to point out. The first, Allah has featured. Yay! The bad actor is back. The second, if you notice, Chantal was sat back on that chair, but not at the same time. That is how dangerous her size is now. It's been like that for a few months, I know, but in the past she could comfortably sit in a game chair. Quite an expensive one because it had to be, but now she has to perch on them. At this point she may as well either sit on a floor or be bedbound, and she's not far away from that. Of course, I do not wish that on her, just a statement of what will happen if she does not fix this.
I see.
I'm 66.
Yeah.
Just before we go back to the video, I want to show you a community post from Chantal. Lamau, imagine demanding proof of weigh-in from a doctor, getting that proof, and then saying the scale is not for obese people. Nah, the scales go up to £600. What's even more disturbing is that grown adults who are also obese and have children to raise spend their time obsessing over the weight of someone else all day. Truly odd and unprecedented. Congrats on being the stupidest channels on YouTube, gold star emoji, or medal. Looks like at least Yo Mama did some research, so your turn. Cam up and weigh in or shut up. Stay mad, stay obsessed, stay ignorant. I will make this point. There are many who do not have much in the way of a leg to stand on when it comes to you, Chantal, but it is a deflection to demand they also do a weigh-in when that is not the point. You are the piñata they wish to thwack for all the goodies that they can get from you. It's why I do my end of year reviews in December. It's the best month for it. At least I'm honest though. And I will admit, it does take some bravery to get on a scale and willingly put it out there. But many, and even I don't believe, you weigh that little. I do forget often that you are quite short. Muscle density comparative to fat density, of course, means that muscle typically for the same space occupied as fat weighs more. You carry more fat than muscle, although you do have muscle underneath to hold your frame up. It's just being used to stop your spine compressing too much. It is a deflection to say that those that criticize you need to also do the same. They are not the lolcow. You are. And yet again, no matter how many times you tell us you're going to not engage with them anymore, you keep doing it because of how fickle you are. Now, of course, you've been taking criticism from a lot of people for a lot of years. I cannot possibly begin to fathom that. Some of those that do criticize you, who aren't so different from you, will undoubtedly feel this way in a few years' time once enough people start to realize what they really are supporting. But it does not mean they have to do the same as you.
Hey guys. So, I'm gonna try not to cry, but I'm in a really weird mood. I'm so depressed.
This video feels very strange to me. It feels very strange because it comes across as someone attempting to be honest. The main issue with that is Chantal, Foodie Beauty, Big Beautiful Me has spent the entire year pretending her world was some kind of dream life, which means many are not going to believe this is real. I personally think what is real should have been taken immediately off the internet and she should just get on with it, crack on, go home. But she still edited this video to make this for everyone to show the vulnerability or the claimed vulnerability, which is fascinating.
Coming back from the doctor, first of all, being out in the day like this in the sunlight makes me worse depressed. I hate it. I like the night.
What Chantal really means to say is she prefers Canada's colder weather because she is not built, nor are many people built, for the Kuwaiti heat.
And everything is busy. It's overwhelming. I feel overstimulated. If I look off to the sides, because I'm trying to think of what I need to say.
The reason for that comment is because if you look to certain sides, it is usually an indicator of deception or lying. Since Chantal has been caught out lying so many times over the many years of being on YouTube, this is a comment to cover oneself.
I just feel so apathetic. I don't care about anything right now. Like, I don't care about anything. It's like the only thing in my life that I feel that makes me happy is food.
Well, it's been that way for quite some time then, because you spent months doing mukbangs every single day. That was your life. You knew it would get you views, you knew it would get you heat, which meant more views. Controversy does breed generally a level of productivity, not just from yourself benefiting from it monetarily, but also incentivizes you to continue doing it. The issue you now have, Chantal, is that because of the kind of content you make, you are unlikely to be able to make other types of content and retain the viewership. I genuinely believe the only way you're going to make any definitive change to your life is to change everything. But as you're quite close to 100k, I wouldn't be surprised if you pushed for the self-destruction thing, which I wouldn't recommend, just to get the silver play button to then change if you can. But you won't change. That's what many will say, and it's because your track record, your history is against you.
And I know that to get better and live a longer life, I have to change drastically. And dealing with the emotions that I have because of that is so uncomfortable that I just don't feel like I can. Sometimes I don't feel like I can do it, or that I want to do it. When I feel like this, I feel like I just want to be passive in life and not fight and just lay down and just not fight.
Well, that, Chantal, is kind of the point of life. To knock you down and keep you there. The strength of your character is what defines you. If you're willing to stand up and fight that, keep fighting no matter how many times it hits you, there's a Rocky Balboa quote in here somewhere, then that is your strength as an individual shining through. You can seek to blame instead of solve, but if you don't solve, all you've got left is blame. Ultimately, the onus is on you, and I'm not surprised you're considering going back to Canada, where you will at least be able to receive all the healthcare for free. The only issue you've got is your taxes.
So the doctor wants to put me on another pill. I told him, like, my blood sugars have been still in the 200s. My blood pressure is good. It's like, if that person beeps one more time, I swear, like, when I'm in this mood, everything is overstimulating. Like, somebody beeping their horn is driving me crazy.
If I were a psychiatrist, I'd be telling you the reason why is because you desperately want something else to complain about to distract you from the reality of what you are going through. But as I'm not a professional, it is merely an assertion based on observation.
I know that I have to bring those numbers down. But like I said, right now, I just don't really care. I just don't care.
Which could well be a damning statement for your mentality, your mental health, but also a damning statement of those around you that you claim love you yet have done nothing to help you all year. Yes, I cracked my knuckles, you're welcome. The basis of love isn't always as simple as telling someone in front of a camera, I love you, babe. Many times it involves a push, a back and forth. Only in death do we know who the winner is. Because that is also the point of a marriage. It is a competition to see who can outlive the other.
About anything. I just feel really tired of everything, fed up. And it's like gonna be so much hard work.
I will, just in case you didn't hear it before, restate a point I made earlier. Anything worth doing is difficult. If it's easy, it is not worth doing. When it comes to our health, it is always hard. It is a constant battle and a commitment. Arnold Schwarzenegger pointed out in an interview that sometimes you have to not only work out, but change how you work out on a regular because your body adapts to it, which is why many on weight loss journeys plateau multiple times. They've committed to a routine and the body is used to it, so you have to switch it up. You have to make it hard for yourself because you know you're doing it right. That's the point. Injuries are common at all sizes. Sometimes you just have to push through it. When it comes to working out, I speak from experience. I once picked up a pen off a counter and pulled my lat on my left side. I couldn't rest it, so I worked through it. It was agony, but sometimes you have to do that because otherwise you fall and the world will find a way to keep you there. But as you've never been able to commit to these kind of journeys, the real problem starts at square one, simply doing it when you don't care. You have always been self-destructive, and now you've realized you can't go any further unless you change for a while.
Anyway, that's how I'm feeling, you know. I don't want to come on here all the time and smile and just be fake about it because I'm not very happy right now. I think getting mental health help is just overwhelming. Like, I don't even know where to even start. I don't know. I feel like I'm moving in the thickest quicksand ever.
So where to start would be a psychiatrist. Sit with them, talk to them. That is an expensive process, but it is vitally important. If you know you also need to lose weight, you need to start looking at your caloric intake and your external output, as in what you are doing on a daily basis to look after your body. Minimum step requirements are key, but you live in an area of the world where that is not going to help you in the slightest. We live in an age of convenience. Therefore, you should seek to go to a gym on a regular basis, even if it is something you hate. You sometimes again have to push through that part to get somewhere else. You need to make sure, and you need to control every aspect of your life. If it's binge eating disorder, whatever it is you call it, food addiction, you need to see a psychiatrist first, which would explain why you're coming home. More chance you can pay for it, I guess.
I have a lot of thinking to do. I was watching Life by Jen documentary, like Mr. Snowflake. He did videos on me too, and I like bawled through the whole documentary on her because I know people think she wasn't a nice person or whatever. We all have moments. We all are sometimes not nice people.
Jen had made concerted efforts towards the end of her life to change. While she was on YouTube, I do recall seeing videos accusing her of being a flagger, but she had made changes to her health, and it was truly sad that she lost in the way that she did, because she was doing things right for herself.
She went through a lot of suffering, like she went through a lot of abuse. She went through a lot of suffering, and unless you have the type of issues with food, eating disorder, food addiction that we have, you can't know the type of hardships. It's like...
The problem you have, Chantal, it's not just that. You also suffer from certain personality traits that feed off the energy from the online space. Without it, you wouldn't be this. You really wouldn't. You have addictive personalities, oh sure, of course you do. Couldn't agree more on that. You are addicted to anything, like Amber is when she develops any hobby or interest. It becomes a moment, she collects all of them like wax melts. But when it comes to food, you fed off the fact that people gave you the energy and the criticism. For as long as that exists, you exist on YouTube, because you've never been anything else. You grew because of it, in fact. Your beezing got you the most amount of subs.
Food is literally, it can be. It's so addictive. Like drugs, but unlike drugs, we need food to survive. And it's just so hard. And it's scary because I'm on that path. And people on the internet are just so, in life in general, they're so disgusting towards people with issues like this.
It's because a lot of it comes down to what is perceived as a personal choice. And because we know a lot of it comes from an entitlement. For as long as you have the attention of the internet, or many on the internet who are your very important beezers, you have your justification to continue. Many of us look down on that because we believe you've made the wrong choice for yourself. I personally criticize you because I know you could be better and know that this version of your life is the worst possible version. You call food the most addictive because it's good and you need it. Right off the bat, you told us everything we need to know.
You don't get it, you know. Just don't get it.
We don't even get it. Anyway, I'm sorry that this video took like a bit of a turn for the worse. That's just how I'm feeling today. So now you know I'm not lying about the scale. Anyway, I don't care what these irrelevant people think, but I'm just, there you go. Okay, that was easy to show you. All right, I'm just going to end the video here.
It's fascinating that right at the end of your video you perk up when it comes to speaking on the very people you criticise, many of whom I will concede do not have a leg to stand on when it comes to their own weight struggles. Of course, that is a deflection on the focus, which is your health. As a piece of advice to you, Chantal, I really recommend you ignore them. All of us, myself included in fact. I merely documented your year and tried to offer minimal opinion on it. This though, I have to offer an opinion on it. You need to ignore them if you are to truly focus on you. By focusing on where the negativity resides, you do nothing to elevate yourself. If you really want to be more, live longer, be better, you have to stop lying to everyone, but most importantly to yourself. You make it seem like you're finally starting to see sense. People have been trying to tell you this for years. Granted, a lot of it came through much toxicity, snorting, coughing and hacking and swearing, but it was still there. You go on the attack rather than do the one thing that would benefit you, and that is go on the attack for yourself, not to vindicate yourself against them, but to help you. If you really want to do that, you're only ever going to achieve it the moment you simply stop lying. You can get better, you can be better, you can be more, but the only way it'll happen is if you do that first. A psychiatrist will tell you that, by the way. I've just told it to you for free, which you will happily disregard, I have no doubt of that. Best of luck when you get to Canada, by the way. You're going to need all of it and a GoFund to pay your taxes.